Express about one of the many celebs to have been on the rhubarb and custard the last few days.
So GMB star Adil Ray defends Jihad calls at pro-Palestine protests in Whitehall. He makes the point that some people made in the first articles about this, about the word has different meanings, like pair and pair, but obviously with far worse consequences. And he says it can mean struggle. So a Muslim's spiritual struggle to avoid sin and be a better human. So I thought, let's put that in context, replace the word with that and see if it works. So in one clip, taken outside the Egyptian embassy, a speaker says, what is the solution to liberate people from the concentration camps called Palestine? The mob says, struggle to avoid sin and be a better human and avoid evil.
It's good. It's like the consolations of philosophy, you know, or Marcus Aurelius' Meditations.
So I thought that further on, there's another clip. Let's put it in there, see if it works. The mob says, the second clip, the only solution is jihad by the armies of the Muslim countries. So that's the only solution is the struggle to avoid sin and be a better human by the armies of the Muslim. I'm saying it
as I
possibly
said on Twitter, it's not so much gaslighting as a manually controlled strobe. It's so extreme. But I do think, I mean, you have to understand that, yes, I understand the word jihad contains many meanings. I think it's legitimately, you could say it's kind of like crusade, where you can say, I'm on a crusade to bring down underage alcohol abuse. And you don't necessarily mean, and I'm going to do that by slaughtering all the Arabs and retaking Jerusalem. But if you said that while you had been gathered, you know, by the Pope in the 12th century, then you would understand crusade in that context. And that's the context it's seen in, isn't it, at the moment? It is one of these words which can be adapted to certain... I do get that, he's correct. But he's absolutely dishonest in his attempt to make it sound as if it's being used in that way in this context.
No, Simon, I disagree. When I'm going through a spiritual struggle to avoid sin, I tend to wait for the moment of maximum political tension and get out on the streets and scream about it in front of as many people as possible. What an absurd idea that it's a personal struggle to avoid sin. Absolute gaslighting, as you said. Appalling, ridiculous nonsense. And why so disingenuous? And we only have to compare with things like being arrested for praying in your head near an abortion centre to see where we are with this. With the Met Police, people like Adil Ray will go out of their way to defend the indefensible. Yes. Meanwhile, you know, minor transgressions are punished in our anarcho-tyranny that we're living in.
Absolutely. And even then, I would say perhaps there is a role for Adil Ray as a guest on a Newsnight discussion about these sort of things, but he is presenting perhaps the country's most popular breakfast television show. He's a really mainstream TV host who is making a ham-fisted attempt at apologies for terrorism.
It's disgusting. There is a question of how you deal with it, you know, because the police were saying we need more hate speech laws and terrorism laws. I don't think we need more hate speech laws. We seem to have loads of them. No. But we might need different terrorism laws. I'm not sure our law is evolved to deal with this particular threat.
I certainly think, in terms of hate speech and bad speech, I'm absolutely in favour of free speech, but I think we need to listen to what the British people are saying about these things rather than sort of a handful of wacky activists. Anyway, sorry.
Just chuck in really quickly. It says at the bottom of the article that ITV has been approached for comment about this, sick of that.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of that recently.